good cause to be tired. Y'all are running all the time.
Can you hear my cat trying to get in?
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
Meow.
The cat's going, meow. I want to get on the Chillinois podcast.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
Anyways, again, y'all,
like,
you both have a reason to be tired. You're constantly running. I just heard you at DePaul all the time. But before we get into anything, let's.
You heard us at DePaul?
Yeah, I did. I was like, is that Anna? Is that Vi? So I wasn't there, but I heard you. But anyways, so before we get any further, I want you to introduce each of yourselves and plug your social medias, which we will throw in the podcast description for our listeners. So go on ahead. Either of you, flip of a coin.
I just went on a rant about how I hate branding. So yeah, let's do this.
For all of you who don't know, you can find me on IG at vi.her or all over True Social Equity and Cannabis. IG. I don't even know our IG handles. That's an Anna question. I should know it, but
we the people, True Social Equity and Cannabis.
Yes.
We'll have it in the podcast description. We're so high we can't remember some things, folks, but you just look in that podcast description.
And in addition to that, yeah, we are very tired. We both do a lot of things in different spaces, and a lot of spaces within this cannabis thing. And there's always something that's going on. Unfortunately, that's how the fucking system and the state and the regulations and the corporations get you. They want to keep you busy. So yeah. I don't know if that
well said. You introduced yourself. Yep, you're Vi, and you gave us some social media handles, which we'll have in the podcast description. Anna, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Anna Rose. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I've been in Chicago for almost 20 years. I am an artist. I went to arts middle school, high school. I went to DePaul and got cut from the acting program, then went to Columbia and graduated in 2007 and then became a massage therapist. Been doing
all those fun things.
Yeah. I was working on it in my head, like shit, all the things. Those aren't things, whatever. That's some things. And started True Social Equity and Cannabis because I'm fucking pissed off and I need a place to channel my rage. As Cole heard yesterday, some of my rage.
Well, for folks that don't know, here you go. Whoever wants to take this. What are we pissed off about?
Well, one of the things
cannabis
is the fact that the corporations have once again been allowed to do the very thing that they appropriate the community and the culture for doing. And yet we get criminalized, penalized, and locked out of doing the exact same fucking thing. And then they make money off of our bodies for pennies, and no one has any actual accountability or repercussion, or where the fuck is their punishment? For me.
Absolutely. Yeah, well fucking said. As always, Vi. As always.
It's a more real realization that I've had recently is that everything is a fucking racket. And on this last show, I had this idea I said out loud. I'm going to say it again so we all can remember. Is like the racket right now is in a place where it's not helping us. It's not helping the people, but it could be helping us and making the world better. So let's just change the racket to make us.
Oh, trauma makes money. Chaos makes money. War makes money. Confusion makes money, right? Those sickness makes money. Indoctrination makes money. Let me keep going. The fuck. But all that sounds great, but then it's like, how do we actually implement and get to that as a whole? And I think that for the most part, that's a lot that we keep missing, man. Is the togetherness, you know?
I agree. There was a
like
good
all the
step yesterday,
podcasters should come together and really decide on where we stand, because we are the culture. We create voice that people are seeing. When there's shit that we align on, let's highlight that shit and align on it. It transforms and intersects in multiple different areas and ways and spaces. You know, is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I do have to say, I think Cole, our pages and like, you know, daily, like we kind of started aligning, and I feel like we had a good jive for a hot set. Not to say that we don't have one now, but it's just that you're going way more broad, which is totally cool.
Hey, don't say that about my guests. I'm joking.
We all should. I mean, we all have, like, people might look at me and be like, why does this bitch care so much about cannabis? Like, and I care so much about cannabis because it's intersectional, and I care about other things that it affects. So I don't know where I was going with that, but
and
sorry, I
for my own medicine and for my own traumas.
Yeah, I had like Rooney and I got into it like in a good way with talking about trauma on the last podcast an hour ago. So
you mean Rodney?
Or Rodney, sorry.
I was like, who's Rooney?
Me too. I was like, who's that? But that's my friend, and so I do the same thing. I always appreciate when someone can be like, no, girl, it's so much.
I appreciate it so much.
I just said chefery the other day to my friend. And she on the phone, and she was like, that is not a word, don't ever use that. And another chef was like, no, we actually use that in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes, you know, you just don't know. Sometimes we need help.
Yeah.
What's up with you, Cole? What's going on with you? Tell us how you feeling. What do you think as an outsider? Like, what did you think about yesterday at DePaul?
Well, I missed most of it.
As an outsider, not as an outsider, as a, like, you weren't there in the room.
Yeah, I missed most of it. What's that?
I said I didn't even know that they were being.
Yeah, I need to go back. They were recording, so I should get a link. I actually did think I did get an email from DePaul today, so maybe it's got a link to the full recording. But I joined late, and when I joined, it was just around the end of your statement, Vi. One of you both. I heard you both, and I was like, "Is that Anna and Vi?" And I was messaging somebody we all know, Penny Hearts, and they said, "Yeah, no, they're there." He said, "Yeah, no, they're there," and I was like, "Okay, I thought that was their voices." And so, but I didn't see it all. But if you're asking me like what I thought about what I saw, I don't know, like it to me, everybody was talking about like it was a big mystery about like what's required, you know, like we're like, how do we get a response out of how do lawmakers, how do we get that final push? And like, you know, there was a lot of talk of organization and holding them accountable and everything else, but I'm like, you know, there are certain people that know more than anybody else that the reason Illinois cannabis, like the CRTA, passed is because $600,000 were behind the CRTA. And I mean, that's what we know about. That's what's been reported. So I just thought it was interesting that, you know, it was like, whoa, there's a big mystery. How do we change things? It's like money. And that's the only way that this whole thing got done was money. So I guess, I don't know how we get money, but
it's funny that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see there was a press release that went out about an hour and a half ago that there's going to be allotment for social equity applicants?
Yeah, all the conditional social equity applicants that had loans from the DCEO, that they're going to give them a forgiveness for all of those. And it's about 9 million. It's about 9 million. And of course, you got to qualify. So everyone needs to look at the stipulations and the requirements, you know. Again, that's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like, so if you read the article that I just shared, or if you read other articles from the time, and I'll throw them in the podcast description for folks that want to read up. Like, for example, home grow was on the ballot, or home grow for all was a possibility. More open licensing was a possibility. Guess who opposed that? the Medical Cannabis Alliance of Illinois, who's now known as the Cannabis Business Alliance of Illinois, Pamela Altoff.
There it
and
is.
they, among other people, funded what we know as the CRTA today, and they opposed things like a more open licensing structure. They opposed things like home grow. And so, like, again, the only reason we have what we have today is because there's money behind the proposals that we see today. You know, there's so much room to profit off of it. And frankly, people in suits can't profit off of us if we have the ability to home grow, right? Like, I don't know. I'm having trouble having trouble articulating what I'm trying to say. But do you at least see the first part of what I'm trying to say? I'm struggling with the second part. Like, I'm struggling with saying that there's no money behind the principles that we stand for. It's not that there's not no. It's not that there's any money. It's not that there's no money.
Because you care about the generations after. You care about actually what's happening.
That's what I'm saying. It's
as
spreading
the
wealth.
foundation as a whole. There it is.
Spreading the wealth, and that's what they don't like. They want to keep the wealth all in one little pocket. And that's what I mean. I'm having trouble articulating it, but that's what I mean when I say there's no money behind the principles.
No, I think you're saying it just right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you both. It felt hard to say that. So,
well, it feels hard because they don't want us to say it, because they don't want us to say that they're doing something wrong and they should stop because it's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the day that we're talking about is really the system. You know what I mean? Like, the more and more, the bus is in here. Today's Thursday. I'm tripping, y'all. My kids don't even get off at the bus. They bring them to the house.
Hey, it's 420, everybody. It's 420.
You just got a nice walk-in on 420. Happy
420. Right.
Oh, I need to light one up. I got a kitty on my lap, though. She's going to run away. Sorry.
That's what my cat does too. As soon as I grab the lighter, the cat's out.
One of mine likes it and one of mine doesn't. She's the one that doesn't.
Yeah, they definitely don't want us to put the pieces together. The problem is we put our pieces together piece by piece rather than puzzle by puzzle, because we're talking about a multitude of us. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we still on a tree forest view, I guess is what I'm saying. That's what I mean when I say a puzzle by piece, because we've been doing the piece thing. We've been doing the little by little. It's time now to, a lot by lot. What the fuck?
Yeah. And there were students there last night, but there were also other advocates that were there, people who have licenses advocating for them for their licenses, and they spoke up. And I ran after them afterwards, and I was like, please, I want you to know that we support what you all are asking for. We're just also wanting more.
And the voice for the other people too that are not being recognized and uplifted, that also had struggle.
That's what I'm saying. Here, I want to say that again more clearly too. I do not oppose what the prospective licensees are pushing for necessarily. All I'm saying is that when everybody thought when we were going to legalize cannabis that meant nobody could have any possibility for going to jail with anything cannabis related, and that simply is not true. People still go to jail for cannabis related offenses, including home cultivation, possession, simple use in public, which is crazy. And that's all I'm saying. I thought we could all agree on that. I thought it's almost like if I could just wrap what I'm saying up really quickly, it's like when you legalize cannabis, first and foremost, we should expunge records. We should give amnesty, like you guys have made the point.
Yes.
And allow home grow, all of these different things to protect the freedom of the individual first, and then we can talk about licensing.
Agreed.
Okay. And maybe we can do them at the same time, but that first thing has to be done.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, though. That's exactly what we were promised, right? That isn't what has occurred. And that's the problem, is that, and then they hide behind this intention of the law, or the spirit of the law, and that we at least had to get something out. Well, had they thought about that in its entirety, now fully, whether individually or together, as we're saying, the outcome would have been different. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what occurred.
This for 3 years. Vi, like as soon as I met Vi 3 years ago, she was like, all of this shit needs to just stop right now. We need to stop right now.
Until we get it right and rethink it right from the beginning.
Right.
Because ultimately now we have psilocybin. We have a psilocybin bill that's getting ready to come out as well. We have a multitude of people that are working on it, not just in this state, but other states. We can look at Oregon as an example, right? And I don't want the same thing that has occurred in cannabis to occur with any other medicinal life form that we utilize in order to uplift our consciousness and heal us as a people.
Yeah.
And that's what we see happening if we're not careful.
Because that's what because people that don't understand why the plant is so important for healing are ultimately always going to do the wrong thing with it.
And the renewable resource, that's the industry, right? That's the part that's the industry, not necessarily the healing aspect of it, the parts that you can't put a price tag on when you're talking about someone's life, whether they're an elder person or a child, or someone that's in the middle range of the age that's just have trauma, no matter whether that's physical, mental, emotional, whatever that may be, right? And that's the part that's been capitalized, and that's the part that is the injustice, and that's fucked up.
Vi, can you like set up so you're not wiggly because you're making me kind of nauseous?
Is that what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But well said again. I mean, if I could put it another way, like Hamilton Morris has made this point, and I think I shared a reel on my Instagram where it's like, sure, might be spiritual, it might be healthy, it might be whatever you want to say. And if it is that for you, that's great. But really what it comes down to is individual freedom. If we want to call ourselves a free country, we need to allow adults to engage in risks, especially if those risks
democracy.
Right. And especially if these things are something that doesn't affect anything but yourself, which is the case with cannabis and these other things that we've referenced, like psilocybin and such.
Cacti and fungi, absolutely.
Plant-based medicine, natural medicine. Got it. And that's even touch too. Touch can be medicine. You can't. I was like, I want to do some like Reiki in with people who are incarcerated, and like you can't touch in jail, which makes sense. But even Reiki, I want to look into that, if they would even be open to Reiki, because it's not necessarily touching, but it's like hovering over. It has been a day. Take your jacket off.
Outside. Right, my bad. Yeah,
no, you're good. I've been sitting on my bed. Like, I don't have a desk.
You've been very emotional today.
I know.
Okay.
I need to do some like self-care.
I've just been saying that, like, just, yes, again, when it goes back to the traumas of all of us, just from the process to not even just starting any business can bring trauma, right? Ultimately. But, and then on the other side, also trying to make sure you lift your voice and doing the work and bringing the awareness of, on a larger scope, on a larger scale, what's happening and why it is that we shouldn't give our money, because where your dollars go, that's where really the legislation goes. And we're consciously making these choices, some of us, and we don't have to.
I am very proud of Han Win, who just won a state representative seat for the 41st district or something. He won with 90%. Like he's been on top of it. He's been like talking to everyone in our community. Everyone knows him. I really believe
That's
in
what
him.
it's about.
Yeah, I'm hoping
people should know you and not just know when you come around for certain events.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping he is going to help us push something in the right direction. I have talked his ear off about this, so he knows that I want to, and he's a worker. He likes to work, so it's just a matter of like, can we fix this with the pushing of the paper?
Yeah. So is he a House representative, or are they a House representative? What is it? What are they?
Sorry, my cat
Is a state rep.
is no. I think he's a House representative. I'm gonna look him up. We'll see it.
Oh
from
yeah,
him.
I think he's in the House for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
I'm
the interesting thing that I've heard.
Okay.
What was that?
I'm sure I'm like high and trying to remember how to spell. Okay, here we go. Here he is. State rep.
Oh, okay. I actually haven't heard of him of them before. So
yeah, him. Yeah. Here we go.
Nice. Well, good for them. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Like I definitely hope that they exercise their influence in that regard, and that's really what it comes down to. Like we have to put pressure on our representatives. Unfortunately, that's the only power we have is put pressure on them so that they can exercise their influence and ultimately their authority to change the laws as we know them now.
I don't know if that's the only power. I think that depends on where mentally you sit on how you relate to your environment. Ultimately, that's maybe another conversation for another show. But
yeah, no, I just meant in the state of Illinois to achieve legislative change. That's your only route.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you just said. Like,
and boots on the fucking ground, and boots on the goddamn ground. Like we need to actually be a little bit louder because I think that they think that the community just accepts the okie doke and openly. You know what I'm saying? JB fucking Pritzker in Illinois guys got voted back in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And goes around saying how great our cannabis is in Illinois. Like, if that's not a fucking slap in the face, I don't know what the fuck is. Like,
wait, hold on.
That was the elephant in the room I was trying not to bring up. Like, fucking JB Pritzker just won the governor again.
Sorry, I had to even go back there, but
hold on. Are you the folks at True Social Equity saying that when JB Pritzker says we have the most equitable cannabis licensing
laws,
cannabis law, you're saying that he's not?
We've been saying this. It's some bullshit. Like he's
bullshit.
Cool.
Where? How do we? I mean, so Michigan and their cultivation laws are way more forward than Illinois. Illinois could have done so much better, and we fumbled the ball. But how many times have we fumbled the ball? Look how many of our politicians are being indicted or voluntarily leaving. Don't run away now. You know what I mean? You can still be held accountable. Maybe that's what they need to know. You can still be held accountable.
Hell yeah. Well, between that DePaul talk and other things I've seen you all participate in, I feel like there is starting to be this general awareness of the farce that is legal cannabis. Hey, can you tell us about? I talked to Penny Hartz about it, but I'm just curious to hear from both of your perspectives. Tell me about the protest you did at dispensaries. I think that's so cool. I wish I could have made it because I know that people going to dispensaries, generally speaking, if they see a sign like that, they're going to want to take some time to talk to you. So can you both just tell us about that experience? I'm sure it was cool.
I mean, we've been doing that for 3 years, so
it's not camera.
New. It's not new. Sorry. But we more recently we protested Cresco little bougie breakfast, and then we're banned. We were in Instagram jail for posting about it. We did that with Philip too. he is so great. I just want to be like, yes, thank you. He's been showing up and he like digging, like he's one of my favorite people. Again, I'm like, I feel like we found another part of the team. Like Cole, I feel like we've been a good like team for the last 3 years. And I feel like we've been on the same page pushing for like what we believe is progress and like getting in the ears of the people that need to hear it. And I think he is just another puzzle piece to all of that.
And that's and going back to your question, Cole, that's really when we do these types of protests and things like that, having Penny there and other people that are there that actually show up and support, like ECCSC, and really lifting the voices and talking about what's happening. It helps when you can get one-on-one, right? Because unfortunately, the face of cannabis is corporate cannabis. Is like you're walking in Walgreens and your number and get whatever product that we push you. It's big pharma in agriculture, you know, that we see. And there's so much that we're not seeing that should be questioned and also brought to awareness in regards to the intersectability of where it is that we sit in across the nation of cannabis.
Yeah. I mean, people either have decided that people have either decided that that they're not going to want to talk to us and like walk by and it's cool, whatever. And then, yeah, you're right. A lot of people were interested to know. Right. And of course, the big question is, well, where else do we go?
So right. Where else do we go?
So like, then like a potential solution is also potentially making someone a criminal. So like, it's just where this world is so messed up.
Can't give it to you right here on this corner, even though I know you want it. You know what I mean? And my stuff's better than theirs, right? But at the same time, having people make more conscious choices and understand the choices that they make, right? And those are the same conversations that need to be had about women's rights, abortion, right? About what's happening in the housing community to the Blacks and Browns, right? What's happening to the youth and all this gun violence that's happening and carjacking. There's so many other levels that need to be brought to light, that continue to be brought to light, that need to have that support. So having those people that are there that are willing to take the time. Now, some of those people that just don't give a fuck, some of those get cussed out too. You know what I'm saying? It just happens.
Yeah. And also there's a lot of tourists too. There's a lot of people that are just like in town for something and want to pick up just a small amount and like don't actually want to go to a dispensary, but just don't know anybody. Like they would never go, they have their person in their state, but you know, and that's saying something. That a lot of their clients are that.
Yeah,
it's just saying federalization yes doesn't.
Yeah, they just Google. They're like weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you going to say something?
Unless you're far out and you don't. I was going to just say unless you're far out and you don't have any other options, and the whole point of the propaganda was to make sure that there was no other options. They've done that very successfully. The system has done that. It won. You know what I mean? If we're looking at it like that, it did what it was intended to do. You know what I'm saying? And then
what's that whole campaign that's happening? There's a whole campaign that's happening now that's like buy legal weed. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Cole? Did I send you that?
Yeah. We shared a story on that. I think New Jersey partnered with that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's good to say these names. I love being able to say names like this. So
I love it.
Not good at remembering.
Canopy Growth, Columbia Care, Cresco, Viola, Pax, Wana, and Curaleaf partnered with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy to launch a Buy Legal campaign to encourage consumers to purchase cannabis from licensed sources. The cannabis companies, like I said, included Canopy Growth, Columbia Care, Cresco Labs, Kronos Group. Oh, I actually missed a few names. Kronos Group, Curaleaf, Jushi, Pax, Viola, and Wana. So I actually missed a few names in my headline. So it comes at a time of heightened tension where supporters of unlicensed legacy sellers of cannabis, including those that operate so-called gifting shops in places like the District of Columbia, New York, and elsewhere, are pushing back against proposed crackdowns. The Buy Legal website, for its part, points out something about electronic vape lung injury crisis, but the funny thing about
they want to
that
get
is
you
that
hooked on bad shit.
the funny thing about that is that they're pointing it out as if it only happened in the legacy market, but it also happened in the regulated market. There were several products pulled off the shelves here in Illinois, and when I say pulled off the shelves, they were just lowered in prices. They still sold those fucking products to people because they're not gonna fucking throw them in the trash. No, they're gonna sell them to people.
Period.
Anyways,
and yet they have to throw
or they're
away
going to give them to
after
the
how
legacy
long?
market.
here's what they say. They say the broader concern is about consumers being exposed to contaminated cannabis products in unregulated spaces, the lack of potency.
Regulated spaces. It's more that. It's the unregulated spaces.
Right. The lack of potency labeling accuracy in the illicit market, as if the potency labeling is accurate in the legal market, and the unsanctioned marketing trend where some operators have sought to sell cannabis items under major brand names that they aren't actually affiliated with. What's funny is that cannabis legacy operators have done the same thing. You ever heard of the strain Skittles? The reason it's got a Z in front of it is because they found that their dumbasses infringed on copyright. They've done it with other things too.
Found that to be true? They found it? Like,
I'm maybe I'm wrong. People should always Google things that I say because I'm high as fuck right now.
No. I think you're right. And I'm just like being sarcastic. And
no, that's why they use the Z when it comes to what, Anna? Marketing and branding.
Eat it.
Shit. Yeah. These companies. And then when they do things like that, that's their way of saying, at least we're trying to do a little bit better because we put a Band-Aid, we gave a face to trying to come together and create a program, right? That still has qualified. You're still in control. Why the fuck do you have to have control?
I'm really glad we went to that thing yesterday because we met some new people. We need to continue to meet new people to spread the actual information from the last 3 years, because like they're bringing in people that have not been in this space in 3 years, so they don't know anything of
it's not even bringing in people. Again, Cole, going back to what you were saying, it's about the generational aspect of it, right? Because we have new youngsters and youth that are coming up that are interested and want to be able to do something, whether it's ancillary or whether it's not ancillary. And they care about the justice too, because the world right now is not what any of us would have imagined or thought about. They keep saying the fucking recession is a depression. You can look at it, right? If you just step back a little bit. But by design, by design,
And I mean, the fake cannabis numbers, the fake like cannabis stocks are keeping it up. Like they're not profitable. I don't know why people think they are. I'm in a investor group on Facebook for Fresco. I might be outing myself and then finally
don't do that
after 3 years. But I've been in there for 3 years, so they know me as a rebel at this point. I was like trying to be sneaky for a while, but sneaky in the sense that I was like trying to learn what they were talking about and what they cared about.
Right. The shareholders should be doing that shit at the end of the fucking day. And again, that goes back to where you put your money matters. Just the same as where you put your dollar, your voice matters, your vote matters, right?
Yeah, to be honest, because someone was like, maybe you should buy some shares and stop bitching. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, maybe if I did buy some shares in Cresco, I would stop bitching. That was my thought. I was like, if I had invested, would you have to care more? So what I've been doing is trying to like get the investors to try to care.
Exactly. It's a shame that you have to get them to try to care.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
Straight up though.
But you know who's in that group? Mostly men and white men and a few white women. Like not very much diversity, but a lot of people in the cannabis industry. Like,
is that why they welcomed you in, Anna? They're like, it's another white woman.
No,
Exactly. When she went in to go to the bathroom. Because I
Right.
went in and was like, can I use your bathroom? And they were like, no, it's closed. And I was like, listen, y'all don't want no smoke today. As soon as I walked up, I was like, oh, okay. Now you got a problem with shit because you see a brown face in this bitch. Let me calm down.
To be fair, I watched. So this protest that we did at 9 a.m. on Cresco at this fancy, we didn't realize it was one of those places you have to have a membership with. But anyway, I walked in there. I knew they weren't going to let me use their restroom. So, I was like, I'm going to this, I'm here for this event. I didn't lie. I said, I'm here for this event because I was. And they were like, what cannabis event? They didn't even know there was a cannabis event going on. They thought it was the Crows cannabis. They knew it as the PR firm or whatever. They're
the Cranes.
Cranes. Do you know them? Cool.
Everyone knows
Cranes them. Chicago. It's like a journalist or a news outlet or something.
Yeah, I don't know them.
A publication, whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's like an editorial, if you will, some form of editorial publication.
Something
like
business
you said,
related.
So I was like, I'm here for the cannabis event. Can I use your restroom? And they were like, what cannabis?
Well, the thing is that who knew that Cranes, that there was a link between Cranes and some of these MSOs, and the intersectability of how it is that the propaganda gets placed out and how it is that the attention gets put on whom they do. Like, it's all intersected. And unfortunately, they tend to make the ones that have that information that they don't want to get out there, that quote unquote dirty laundry, right? That they don't want to get out there, that when it is and it exposes them, they try to put their voices down or stop them from being able to do other things within the industry that they know. That's speaking back to one of our other board members, right? Marianne. And it's a shame that there's so many different levels of it that they just get away with, man. And I refuse.
There was 4 of us protesting. Yeah, there was 4 of us protesting, and we got our Instagram shut down. Like, and we were talking about sexism in like the boys club mentality, and then also sexism in Springfield. Like, that was the last post that I posted, and then our Instagram was shut down for 48 hours, which it's never been shut down. So I think that's in 3 years. It's been pretty good.
It was also the same night of
the election.
The election. And she was just on the front page of the Tribune. So who knows? But at the end of the day, man, yeah, you got to make sure that you keep the pressure, as they say, right? It's the pressure that's going to make them at least force them into paying attention to what you're saying. Because at the end of the day, you're just a number and a commodity. And so what they want is your number as well as all the people that you know. And the moment that we can actually, it's the sad truth, until we change the system or create a different system as an alternative that I'm always talking about, right?
Yeah. Which is why we have We the People. So we're looking for people that are interested in running for something, some kind of office thing that is a supporter in what we're trying to push. And We the People will support you. Like, we are the people.
And not just we, but what the community and the people push, because it's about ethics,
exactly.
Right? It's about having morals and making sure that we create the alternative, accountability, but we create the alternative that's going to have forward positive progress, not just forward fucking progress, because you could have a forward shit progress too. You know what I mean? But we want forward positive progress, because all of us have offspring and kids or people that we care about and loved ones and the earth and things that are going to continue on. And leaving something in the way that we do is a no, and unfortunate. And we can't just not pass the torch in a positive way, right? Hold on one second, guys. My kids are here. Speaking of offspring.
Right? Yeah. But I want to know what you think, Cole, about what's going on, or how do you feel about the election? I mean, we just had like a huge epic election that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a red wave.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I'm still formulating my thoughts because the election is still like they're still counting votes in many states, you know. So it's what
about
so
in
today's the
Illinois?
10th. In
Yeah.
Illinois, I guess I guess I feel good. You know, I don't feel bad. Like, I don't know, like, personally, I don't know how I would have felt if Darren Bailey, like, especially because I oppose how he stands on women's rights, but I did like people like critiqued me for posting the cannabis snippet of the debate. They're like, they said somebody commented, and I rarely read comments, but occasionally I do because I like to hear what people are saying, and I benefit from feedback. So somebody was saying that, like, imagine glorifying Darren Bailey, and I was like, just because I shared the cannabis part of the debate doesn't mean I was glorifying either candidate. It was Illinois history that I felt needed to be preserved and shared.
There's so many fucking bullies. Like,
I mean,
but that,
you know what I was thinking about? There was 4 minutes of airtime devoted to cannabis in an hour political debate. That's like a pretty big chunk. And look, nothing was said. Nothing substantive was said. But the fact that 4 minutes technically, like, that's saying something about where we stand today. And like I said, it was a historical moment. Again, nobody said anything substantive. But it was good to see Darren Bailey call, you know, it was good to see Darren Bailey and the debate, what are they called? Moderators, call out the failures of cannabis. And unfortunately, JB Pritzker just did word salad to dance around. But he's a politician, right? So what else do you expect?
The exact same shit he's been saying for the last 3 fucking years.
Yeah. So
the same press release, the same word. It's like, have you?
But I felt like he made a fair point when he said, you know, Darren Bailey, like, you're sitting here critiquing how it's rolled out, yet you've never indicated you would support this. I felt like that was a very sharp response that I don't know if I was on the stage, I would have been prepared to say, first of all, you have always had a history of opposing this. So, like, let's just put that on the table. Second of all, and then yes, he did word salad, but the fact that he brought that up, I thought, actually, I was like surprised that he had that ready to say, you know?
I don't know if it's accurate though, because I think that Darren Bailey, and so I met him at an ECC event that they did like a walkthrough to different locations, and that was really cool. They invited a whole bunch of
wasn't that what Darren was saying when he's saying, I'm walking in the streets with the people?
Yes, that's what he was saying.
We
educated him a lot on cannabis that day. I have some interviews.
Yeah, he said that because he was excited.
Yeah,
I'd love to see those interviews.
Yeah, he placated. Like, he said he was going to give me an interview. You remember I called you and I was
yeah.
I'll have an interview. What should I say? Like, this is Darren Bailey, who's a Republican candidate for governor. And I was like freaking out. And then he cancels, of course, and then ghosts me. So, like,
were you saying though you got footage when you guys were in the streets and stuff though?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I want to. Yeah, that'd be cool to see that stuff. That's what I meant because I knew that he ended up ghosting you. Yeah.
But you were saying as far as that he doesn't have that view. Is that what you were trying to say?
Oh yeah, I thought him or his wife told me that he voted for the social equity bill. So we should look into that.
What? So, yeah, I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I don't believe that he would support any of it for a second. He doesn't seem like the type.
He's a farm boy, so like, why wouldn't he? Like, farm people.
I know a lot of farm boys that are small town idiots. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you might not know them well enough for them to admit to you that they are like, people are very.
Oh, I do. I've got some on. You make a great point. Some on both sides of the fence. Like, but I'm just saying that depending on what type type of one he is. That's all I'm saying. Depending on the farm boy he is.
Well, in front of me, in front of my ass, he's a cannabis guy because he knows he's going to tell me what I want to hear. And
well, now
like,
since he lost, you can absolutely post some of that footage.
Yeah, because I thought about posting it, and then I was like, because I had posted Tom, his name, he was running, and he was a Republican. I don't know. I get kind of self-conscious about posting sometimes because I'll post something and we'll like lose like 5 people, and I'll be like, oh shit, if I piss off. I don't, and I know, I think I can look, but I never do because I'm like, what the fuck ever. I have a life, like, But after posting Tom's, I got like self-conscious and I didn't do Darren's because I was like 2 Republicans in a row. Like, this is not that channel. So I didn't post.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear him clearly articulate any sort of rational stance about cannabis. Like, I'd love to hear him just say anything, because frankly,
didn't he say that we're going to be legalizing now? Sorry, guys, I'm mommying.
Oh, it's okay.
But what wasn't he talking about in his speech about, now he can focus on full legalization? He gave a very presidential speech.
Oh, we're talking
for his
about
acceptance. Oh, well, sorry. I thought you were talking about.
Oh, JB said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said we're going to do full legalization.
Of course.
Yeah. Yes.
See, I didn't watch his acceptance speech because I'm just like, okay.
Oh no, they play clips of it all over.
I'll have to check it out now that you said that. I know he said something about cannabis, but it just sounded like the thing he always says.
Oh, the cannabis was about forward progress, and so now he can do all these great things. Thank you, people, for voting for me. Right? When at the end of the day, he had to say that. The fuck? Because at the end of the day, where are we with it? The complete opposite of what he has detailed and is winning for. Okay, baby, thank you.
I'm at the point where I like can't stop smiling. I'm like so angry, but I like smile when I'm angry. So just so y'all know.
Well, hell yeah. Yeah, but yeah.
Don't be angry.
Like I say, I don't know exactly how I feel about it yet because it's all still very much going on. Like, sure, Chillinois is done, but Chillinois isn't all we have to worry about, So, yeah, definitely looking into other states. There's a few races that'll be interesting to see, like the Georgia one, but we don't have to get into politics. I never get into politics on this show, so politics like that, like on a national scale. I try to keep this stuff kind of to Chillinois, or at least drug policy, if I'm gonna step that much outside.
Okay, well, come on, drug policy.
Well, what do you think about what's currently happening with cannabis in Illinois, Chillinois? Tell us. I mean, give us the tea, and then let's throw it back.
Yeah, I mean, when you say drug policy, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead. Sorry.
No, because you were talking about real like drug policy. Is it outside of cannabis, or is there like a highlight on the drug epidemic that's happening right on the ground level?
Yeah, I mean, I acknowledge that people struggle with substances, but really what I'm saying with regard to drug policy is that the simple use and possession of any drug should definitely not be a crime, and that's any drug. And I know some people have trouble with that because even like, I don't mean to like, but it was on our podcast. So if you've listened to our podcast, you would know this. But like the person that started the weed tube asked me the same question, like, what's the line? And I'm like, well, all drugs. And he was like, I don't know how I feel about that, and I get it. Because he's had certain experiences where maybe like somebody he knew struggled with substance abuse. I understand that. But again, it's kind of back to what I was saying earlier. I think in a free society, we should be allowed to engage in risks. Like right now, I could book an appointment to go parachuting. I have a motorcycle in my garage. I could go down the highway at 200 miles an hour. My mom doesn't like that, but I could do it. Like there's a lot of different things that we can do in life. In fact, you can go to the store and vibe. Most of the things at the store, like you gotta like be careful of like that. There's a reason like bleach bottles have childproof
Exactly.
things on them, like, because it's dangerous shit, but we're trusted to be able to
Yep.
buy dangerous shit all the time, and not we all collectively don't drink bleach or eat
dangerous
rat
And sometimes
poison.
we got to give an ID for it, even for like Drano and things like that. 1,000%. And yet we can't grow a plant,
Right. So
right?
yeah, I know I
Or
went all
carry
over the
plants.
place, but yeah, I
or,
just
or or any types of drugs. I agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that, I hope that answers your question.
Decriminalization, period.
Yes.
Well, do you feel like there is like a solution that we as a group in Illinois can come to like push? Because like one of the things nationally we were discussing earlier today and have been discussing for a few weeks is the regulations, not the regulations, there's the schedules, how the
Sure.
schedules don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Why do we have scheduling in the first place?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about like descheduling cannabis from 1 to 2. Let's actually get rid of descheduling altogether because it's fucking dumb. So maybe doing like a petition, like all of us, all of us advocates that really want true change, like push for this. That would be cool. Just saying. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Cole. You're muted.
It's all good. I was going to ask you, do you mind? I'm going to be selfish because not everybody follows me on Instagram. And I know that this quality won't be great on your behalf, but for our listeners, I'll enhance it. I want to share a video that I made that's less than 2 minutes long that kind of, I think, tags off of your point. So, and like I say, I want to share this because I don't know that all of our people have seen this. So
That's dope.
Oh, look, and people, there you are, true social equity. This is really simple. We should deschedule cannabis. Many people are celebrating the fact that President Joe Biden recently announced that
the federal government currently classifies marijuana as a Schedule I substance, the same as heroin and LSD, and more serious than fentanyl. It makes no sense. So I'm asking the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to initiate a process to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law.
Why do we need to deschedule? Well, because the way that we currently schedule controlled substances is inconsistent and frankly, ridiculous.
If you look at the DEA's list of controlled substances, it's not dangerous drugs that are controlled, it's enjoyable drugs. Something like tetrodotoxin, the chemical in pufferfish, that's not a controlled substance. There's some regulations in terms of how much you can purchase, but it's not a controlled substance. Ciguatoxin, the most potent known neurotoxin, it's not a controlled substance. Lead isn't a controlled substance. Mercury isn't a controlled substance. Mercuric chloride isn't a controlled substance. All of the deadly poisons, cyanide isn't a controlled substance. It's not about what's safe and what's dangerous. It's about what people like to use, what's enjoyable.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Could you even hear that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. The quality may have
other people
translated bad, but we will we'll enhance the
good.
quality when we actually release the podcast. I loved that.
Yes, because I love it too. I'm glad that you put that little PSA together because that is something that people should understand, which is why it is we fight so hard when we're talking about decriminalization as a whole, because the people who should be criminalized are big pharma, big tobacco, big government. It's not the mom and pops. It's not the community. It's not who they deem to be called a drug dealer. Listen, excuse me, y'all.
It's okay. People understand. We've been doing these podcasts from Zoom. We got pets that come in. Sometimes the UPS man drops off some weed. Oh, wait, what? I'm just joking. So anyways, you were saying, Vi? We were talking about the video, descheduling drugs.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Because right now there's so many things that get us distracted from the real focus. So that we're limited on why and separated on purpose. And so I think the unity comes in when we can stand together in commonality because we're focusing on not just the single pointed thing, but the larger aspect and the larger scope of the issue. You know what I'm saying? And that helps it draw in for other people that, this is greater than just a cannabis or any other drug substance. There are other drugs that are out here that we do every day. We take in every day. We use as cleaning products or rat poison for the city needs to fucking use that for the fucking rat poison for the rats that are out here.
There's cats though. And coyotes. They might eat the rat poison. Rat poison is not good. Mm-mm.
Well, something to that effect. But yes, I love that you did that video. Yes. And that video should be something that is also utilized when you're standing in front of town halls and politicians and you're talking about bills that are actually that you're in support of, or ones that should not be supported at all. And why, and why, you know what I'm saying? We have to lift our voices for a purpose. It's not just yelling and lifting our voices. It's for a fucking purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's as a whole. So thank you for that.
But also
yeah.
going to Springfield, like it's not like it's easy to talk to those folks. You know, Cole and I were talking about that.
That's why you do entertainment things like that, right?
Yes.
And because part of grassroots is being creative in the things that you do.
Can I? Well,
can I nothing here? Let me send it to you. Period.
Well,
listen, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Really sending it to their PR person too. Cause like, I just feel like all these people in office, they really just want our ideas and try to move forward with them. They don't really want to communicate with us. They just want to like listen to what we have to say and get like that one spark for their next perspective on where they're at in the situation. And then
how do we make this profitable for them? Because that's the thing. They want to take our ideas, but they want to profit off of our ideas. So it's like, how do we make but that's the problem. It's like because we're looking out for everybody when we do these things. And when you oppose the descheduling of drugs, you're helping out the police unions, you know, you're helping. There's so many other things that go into it. And that's what I think ultimately prevents it, unfortunately. So how do we fight all those forces? How do we give them? It's like money just talks so loud in politics, unfortunately.
Well, that's why we need to get our people in. We need to get the people in that care. Like we need to get all these motherfuckers out, all of them, and all new ones. Flip it and reverse it. Get all these.
We absolutely need to, have better thought leaders and ideas that are actually can be implemented in a way that is going to bring in that positive progress that I mentioned earlier. Bye, y'all. Shit. And in order to do that, we have to care and go vote and lift our voices, as well as go to their fucking front line and be like, yo, I know you saw what the fuck was just put out there. You're not about to let that happen, because some of us have direct relationships with them, right? As you were saying earlier, Cole, about being in those spaces and just leaving and going on to a greater position or something else. You still have those relationships. You're still able to wield in the ways that is necessary so that you can continue to leave the legacy versus having it tarnished along the way, right? It shouldn't just be left up to us. We don't even have a fucking good central office that people can go to and get information about what's happening from our legislative office on any side, license, no license, applicant, student, that's a huge problem. First, like there's so many underlying foundational issues that have to happen simultaneously that we don't have time to be separate in the things that we all want to see progress in.
Yeah.
That shit, we about to be in 2023. That shit is 2022.
Yeah, because everyone's just constantly trying to like push the work onto the next person, in a lot of situations. I saw that yawn. Are you tired, Cole?
No, I was about to sneeze.
So.
I was about to sneeze.
Here, I rolled.
Sorry, Cole, because I know you've been wanting to talk for a minute, and you know us, like, well, you
know
me.
No,
we
I
can
was
talk for hours.
No, I was listening. I'm sorry, I sneezed and distracted her. Anyways, but
it's been
we both can talk like that. We've got a lot to talk about, and we care about these things. We're passionate, so Well, I just wanted to say thank you both. I'm by no means wrapping it up right now, but I just want to say thank you both for taking the time to come on here, because I've spoken to people in the past and I've asked a few different ways, like, hey, I would think that these types of groups would support these basic, fundamental, things like the complete and absolute decriminalization of the possession of cannabis and other drugs, but we're talking about cannabis right now.
Right.
Um, I would think that, some of these places that would be inherently, we don't move forward until that happens. Home cultivation, we don't move forward until that happens, type of thing. And I was asking, like, where's that voice? Where's that voice? And I'm like, I've had that voice on my show again. So I literally reached out. Well, Anna, we were talking about something else. And I told you that I was like, I was thinking about something I said on the show the other day. And I basically just told the story I told. And I was like, we need to get you back on, because you are that voice. Like, I'd like to say that
you were saying nobody is fighting for like legacy to legal, basically. And you like said every single advocate in Illinois, and I can't remember who you were talking with. And then you said that, and I was like, oh, Cole, we're fighting. And it was really funny. You reached out a few days later about that. And so you must have like felt my energy.
Yeah, no, I was reflecting on it and I thought about it and I was like, I've had that voice on my show before. Like, yeah. So I wanted to reach back out to you, and I hope, yeah.
Not just legacy. I was going to say not just pushing legacy to legal,
sure.
But getting people out of it. The three demands that we had with the multi-state thing in September, which we're still demanding every fucking day,
every moment until it occurs, is decriminalization, amnesty,
freedom and amnesty for all cannabis,
home grow for all,
and home grow for all,
regardless
of the quantity of.
If you can't get behind that, you ain't really about social equity, divided socially, or any of the wrongs that have occurred because of the war on drugs. Period.
Yeah, I don't understand how that is so hard to get behind. It seems like
because that doesn't make the money.
Right, you're right.
For the people in control. You know what I'm saying? And so it's about utilizing the game, I think, at this point, in a way, like that question that Rodney was like, what have you learned? Utilizing the game in a way that can actually benefit forward positive progress. Start calling it 3 Ps.
I like it.
Utilize the system to make it work for you. But it's like, I have this additional drive to also try to help fix the system. I'm a control freak. I don't know.
You're a director.
I'm gonna smoke my
for all the creators, all of us creators out there. Hilarious. No, but I appreciate it, Cole, because it's not easy being the one in the room or the ones in the room that you guys hear on that, or I guess we'll hear on the DePaul show, and really, we can talk about the things that went wrong, but then it's like, but who's accountable for that? Actually, because if you can sue somebody for stubbing your toe, you know what I'm saying, or their sidewalk wasn't cleaned out good enough because of the fucking city's job, whatever the fuck, then I can't hold anybody accountable to the wrongs that have occurred to me because of y'all's mess up.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question really quick that I feel like we've been alluding to this entire time, but maybe tiptoeing around, and I just want to address it directly. Do you ever feel criticism for these stances that you take?
Oh my God.
I think all the time. I think anytime anybody has a voice for anything that affects a large amount of people whose voices are unheard, you will always be criticized. If we actually gave a damn about the criticism that we got, we would have stopped a long time ago. We were just exhausted and was like, fuck, why are we even doing this again? Well, maybe we should be that word that she hates, branding, like every fucking body else, right? But at the same time, people kept reaching out to us and calling us and saying, thank you. And I have a place where I can go and vent, because for us, it's not just the injustice part that's happening. There's trauma that's there. We're both healers at the same time, you know, and being a space of calm for people that feel like nobody listens, or they're blocked out, and they still want to find a way how to do it, and are afraid. Just so many different things, man. The level goes on and on and on and on, and I won't even waste time to get into it, because we all hear it. The problem is when people stop, because that's what they want. When people stop, right? Or continue
like
division. That's what the distraction is about. It's a distraction by design.
Or feel like they're alone too. I think that's a big problem. Like the what's currently happening is so hurtful in so many ways that people are making enemies really fast and not communicating very well. And it's
because we forget to be compassionate. That's a word, as I just said that just now, Cole, that's a word that I haven't heard in a very long freaking time. Compassionate. You know, just in general conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we need a little bit more of that in every area that we exist, because maybe if we did, Rodney's show wouldn't have had you triggered in that way, right? You might have still felt triggered, but not in that way, right? And then on the other side of that, having a little bit more je ne sais quoi, if you will, in how to care for you through that, right?
I mean, self-care is like,
man, healing
on a regular basis. And like, I am due for some fucking self-care. Like I've been pushing myself a lot. And we are like very spontaneous people, but Vi and I both, which is why we work well in a lot of ways, because other people would be, I think, like, what the fuck, like, you want to do this? Like,
and they'd be like, oh my god, these girls are crazy, but yes, cool, let's go.
Like, we've been talking about going to MJ Biz for like weeks, and I looked into it a little bit, but like, we don't really have the, like, we as an organization are a 501c3 now, but we're not soliciting at this point. Like, it's just a really tricky thing.
And we don't want corporate money. Like, we're very strategic about how it is that we move on purpose.
But we want to go to Vegas and protest. So if anyone wants
but we need supporters. Thank you. Right. We have, because
next week.
And not even that, just the point of making sure that the voices are masked, and masked by either quieting or masked by having other groups and organizations that speak louder on the other side, right? Or even then the propaganda that's even louder than both of those voices, right?
And we know a lot of people.
And then the government's voice that's louder. And then you got the entertainment voice that's over there too. And the entertainment is trying to be like the poster child of what the culture is. And it's like, oh my God, please don't fall for it, y'all. Like, yay, but no, but yay, but no. Like, let's think about
But they're totally falling for it. Everyone is falling for it. It's crazy. It's not okay. It's like, why isn't anyone seeing this?
And so, yes, having supporters that rock with and care about making sure that we lift that voice on a larger scale. We need you, and not just financially, but in other ways, right, of support, whether you're lifting up our own things that we're posting as well. And sharing, thank you, Cole, for always, tagging and resharing, our stuff. Appreciate you for that. But that too, just like this show, we love Chillinois, and making sure that we also post your stuff, because getting it out there here in this state, because there's people down south that are just like, I'll go through that too. Guess what? We need y'all up here, just like when we go down there, we need y'all down there too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'll let you talk.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Arkansas, just for an example, they just rejected their cannabis law, but And look, if I had it my way, it would be nice if they would have at least taken the incremental step forward. However, with that said, their law did not include expungements. It did not include home grow. And so look at this, Arkansas, if you're listening right now, as an opportunity to go back and recraft your law. And maybe, frankly, if you make a law that makes some fucking sense, it'll pass next time.
Up and running and be in better shape than we
and
are.
And we'll come and support you. Like you just said, Vi, we'll come and support you.
1,000%, 1,000%. But make sure that while you're doing that, that they know that you guys are in an uproar about it, because that's what's going to help drive that in the House and in the state and the Senate, so that those things continue to push, because they don't want that smoke, not for real. And that's the thing. They don't see the smoke. So now we got to rise the smoke a little bit, add a little bit more air to that fire.
If you're in that state and you feel like you're a leader or like you have that capability, you got to step up, because there are other leaders
tap
out
into
there
others,
not on our side. Yeah, you need to just like be an advocate in your state and speak your voice.
Yeah, and I'm saying if you're from Arkansas and you're looking for like a cool Arkansas name, you can like put Arcan and instead you put CAN, on your label, and you could even have a leaf in there.
Everyone's
and stuff.
got branding on the brain.
You can figure it out.
Branding on the brain. It's not about branding. It's about the medicine and what people need to heal.
Sometimes people just feel better if they have a good name. They could just slap that name on and then go, I'm just,
I hear you on that. I hear you.
Because look, I didn't come up. It's just like delivering a child. If you want to utilize that example that we heard at the Paul, right? It's like when you are birthing a child, that at the end of the day, you have to name it something, and sometimes that curation takes longer for others than some, and that curating process doesn't have to be something that you're necessarily birthing, but it's a process. So, and name matters, because name makes you live up to. I named my daughter Eris for a reason. It's the goddess of war. It's because sometimes in order to have peace, you got to make a little bit of war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real
talk.
Well,
sure. I didn't come up with Chillinois. If you Google like Urban Dictionary Chillinois, like it literally, I heard about it years ago. On Urban Dictionary, it says the movement to legalize cannabis in Illinois is known as Chillinois. So I don't know who came up with Chillinois, but that's why I call it Chillinois. So to your point, I know it's not all about branding, but to your point, when I saw that and I put it together, and my buddy made me this cool thing based off another thing that we saw online. If you Google Chillinois, you'll find that too. My buddy made this logo. I made the little thing, and it made me feel better to go, boom, I'm Chillinois, so people can find me easily, and then I can start saying all my crazy shit, So it's not all about branding, but it's like, how can you find me? That's really,
And thank you for saying that, because it's how it is that we relate to that word, right? And that's what I'm trying to get her to see, is that you could put any other word on it, but it's what it is
suck at branding.
Its intention is, right?
People that are good at branding or no branding, people that are good at branding or no branding look at my stuff and they're like, ew, that's disgusting. Like, because I'm not a branding person, but I care about things and I'm consistent, just like you all are.
For Illinois actually is really cool, from a branding perspective, because I also do marketing and branding, but from a branding perspective, your logo, it stands out. People know who you are. It's one of a kind, right? So you could place it on anything and someone would know exactly what you said, where you are, how to find you. And that's what's important. And they want to find you because of what Anna is saying, the work and the quality of what you're doing, versus find Cresco or, Verano or some of these other Columbia Care.
The only ones they can find.
Exactly, because I'm tired of that excuse. Just so y'all know, I'm tired of that excuse. Because you was finding it before that existed. So I don't want to hear that.
I hung out with,
and for those of you that didn't, never mind.
We hung out with a guy like a month or so ago who had a Cresco, thing, and he was pulling out his product from his Cresco thing, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to smoke that. I don't smoke corporate cannabis, and Cresco's the worst. And he's like, this is my plug. And he's just
no, he was like, no, that's not what he said. I need you to get that right. What he said was, this is my safety, because that's the other part that we forget about.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about, go ahead. Because you make a really good point. No, seriously, you make a really good point. When we're talking about the branding of it, right? That branding for those of us that get penalized and criminalized can also save us sometimes, because there are times that they don't give a fuck. I know everybody saw the video that went viral of the state trooper that was like, I don't give a fuck about what you got in here. You should, right? Just took it 1,000% to the left. That's always what happens with Black and brown people. So yes, some of that can be a safeguard, but that's the problem. I shouldn't have to use a bullshit ass company in order to safeguard myself, so that I can feel free enough to walk around with my medication, so I don't snap off on somebody.
Yeah, let's be clear what you're saying. You're saying that some people decide to carry their cannabis in a cannabis container from Illinois because they think cops will give them less trouble, right? Or they will get less trouble, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. Correct. But that's not always the case, as we see.
And I
sure. It's not always.
Yeah. But then you're branding,
and maybe they didn't buy it.
You don't want to actually brand,
right?
You know, I'm like, but you're okay. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation, because like anyone else wouldn't have asked you this, and they would have thought you're smoking Cresco shit, and like you're helping them brand, and like you're a fucking cool dude. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
that's my point. But
no,
and then it was like, no, actually, this is for my safety. And I was like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, it's a fair point. Unfortunately, it's you know, they've literally legalized as Vi, you remember last time we spoke, I remember you said you liked this. Like, we didn't legalize cannabis, we corporatized cannabis. So like, you know, you just have the little bottle with the corporate logo on it, and it's like, okay, but make sure it's not in arm's reach. You know, that type.
Depending on who you look like.
Sure.
Depending on who you look like, right?
Good point.
But at the end of the day, yes, it's definitely corporatized, not legalized, and that's one of the things that we try to do what we can on our end, based on our mission and who it is that we are as individuals, to try to bring the awareness to stop that machine, because that is a machine, and that machine is picking up in its steam. You know what I'm saying? And we have to pick up even louder and quicker and faster in order to stop that momentum, or at the very least, slow it the fuck down.
Don't give them your money. Don't give them your money. Don't give them your money in any way.
Start there.
Here you go.
You start there.
Like, number one, like, yes, I'm sorry. I'm just anti-corporation. So, like,
period.
Don't give them your money. You're feeding the beast. I mean, I'm not religious, but, you know, metaphorically. Or you can...
Well, I'm giving you the space, so you could say it again. Don't give them your money. Don't.
Right. Don't.
No, I want to hear you say it now, because it's.
Hey, I did.
I
just said it twice. Don't give them your money. Don't give them your money. Yes. Yeah. Anyways, we'll shout it from the rooftops. So. Well, cool. Well, hey, I think I'm gonna go get some dinner. Justine's gonna be going to Green, Michigan, pretty soon, and so I want to be able to spend some time with her before she's going just for the weekend. So.
Well, I hope we can chat with your lovely partner at some point. Love the vibe.
Justine, it'd be great if you.
Yeah, we can interview you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, see, I told you, they're asking for it.
She will be on an episode coming soon. I mean, it's just like, you know, we're both busy and stuff, but we will be doing an episode on the legal sex industry pretty soon, because we both, I have mainly, but we both have been researching the legal sex industry, particularly in Nevada, but all over the world. But yeah,
I'm so glad you said that. That's necessary, especially when you're talking about OnlyFans and sex trafficking, right? And all of these other issues that censor around that, whether it's children, adults. I have friends that literally have master's degrees that have decided to step away to do this, you know, and just on a whole level. So yes, if you guys do that, I'd love to be on that topic on that show. That's awesome.
Yeah. So folks, if you're listening right now, chillinois.net/sex, and you can watch some interviews. We did interviews with former and current licensed sex workers in the state of Nevada. And we also, I'm just going to be releasing a former manager or interview with a former manager. And here's the reason, if people are wondering like why I did this. Just like in cannabis, because here's the thing, people got offended when I said there are similarities between the legal sex industry and the legal cannabis industry. They're like, there's not any fucking similarities. I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. There's a lot of things that are different, but here are the similarities: quasi-legal status and large potential for harsh working conditions because of the regulations and the complications with licensing, just like with Illinois cannabis and some of the other states. And so, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like some of these women really love their job. Some of them straight up told me, you know, some of the really fucked up things that they've seen. Like I said, I talked to a former manager that saw some pretty fucked up shit. You know, I'm trying to include both sides, people that are for and people that are against it to an extent. Because for the most part, I'm decriminalized, you know. But it's a very interesting topic. So chillinois.net/sex, people. Anyways,
You're going to MJ Biz?
No, unfortunately not. I thought we were, but unfortunately not. And I was hoping we were, because then I was going to go to interview some more people from Nevada brothels and stuff. So, but anyways.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great.
Absolutely right.
Have a great date night.
Yeah. And I hope you both have a good evening too. And thank you so much for setting aside the time with me. Let's do this again. And I would love to. We need to make the next one. The next one's got to be in person. That'd be cool.
For sure. For sure.
Cool.
Yes. I'm down to travel. Yep.
Sesh it up.
Yes.
Sesh it up.
Yes,
so.
Love you, Cole, always.
Yes, thank you.
That part. And I'm serious about having me on that show because I definitely have a lot to say about that.
Absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely.
But,
I would. Hey, I didn't realize
that's
what you were saying. I would love to do that with you. I didn't realize that's what you were saying. So thank you for clarifying.
Wait, which show are you talking about? Talking about what subject?
The sex one that he's just talking about. Yes.
It's just an
let's do it.
like
sure.
Illinois, but you're chatting with sex workers and
Yeah.
Subject matter change.
Whoop whoop. So
Bye.
take care, everybody.